And I was like, oh, but how could I not talk about this other woman? So can I talk about two? Just real quickly.
Real quick.
The first one being my mama. I was like, how can I not talk about my mother? She's a huge influence in my life. She's the reason why I'm the hustler that I am today, because my mother's always held 2 jobs or more. So real quick, just want to shout out my mother, Edna Walker. Thank you for being the hustlette that you are.
Yes.
You showed me that I don't just have to have one job. I just don't have to have one specialty, that I can have many, and I can sell my services, you know. So shout out to my moms.
Yes.
The other person that always comes first to mind when I think of an empowered woman is Miss June Jones of the Morris Canal CDC. Ever since I met her, I have learned. Every conversation I have with her, I learn, and I think that's so valuable. I just moved back from Atlanta maybe about going on 5 years, but I had so many influential people in my life when I lived in Atlanta, and when I came back to Jersey City, I was like, I need to find my village, I need to find my home. You know, where's my people? And when I met June Jones, I was like, oh, I'm here. I've arrived. Yes. She has so much knowledge, a wealth of information and resources, and I'm just so glad to be in her network. So every day I have a conversation with her, and I'm just, I jewels and gems just in my pocket.
And that is a woman of Jersey City.
Yes.
So let's give Miss June Jones her flowers.
Yes.
Let's honor that queen.
The only minority female developer in Jersey City.
Let's talk about it. Could you say that again? Say that one more time.
The only minority female developer in Jersey City. Her project on Pacific Avenue right now, 317 to 319, the only 100% affordable building in Jersey, or one of the only affordable buildings in New Jersey. So she knows how to build 100% affordable, and she knows how to share the resources and give back, right?
Amazing, amazing. Before we go on, we are going to bring on Miss Sheena Johnson. Come on. I'm so glad that she made it safely.
Yes, queen.
You made it just in time.
Yep. Wait, I gotta hug this queen.
Yes.
I've been waiting to meet
I've been
her.
waiting.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Welcome,
Wait,
Miss
pick your brain.
Sheena. How are you?
I am well.
This is Sheena Johnson, activist, educator. I mean, she,
Everything.
listen, her bio is extensive as well. Okay, so I just want to welcome you. You could put the headsets on.
All right.
We are live. So yes, welcome.
Welcome.
Right now we are doing our Hit in the Block, and we are highlighting women who are either important to us or a historical thing that women have done in history.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give you some time.
I got two.
Right. See,
I got two
They came
as well,
ready,
so
okay?
I don't feel
I
bad.
sent this text message, and these women, they got their homework. So I'm going to go to Mama Blue.
You really want to do that? Okay. Well, since everyone has 2 and I had 10, okay,
Bring it.
one lady I'm going to highlight who was a very dear friend to me. We were best friends for 32 years before she passed away. And that's Frances O. Thompson. Frances is and was the first African American female councilwoman for Ward F.
Oh.
Okay? When you want to talk about development, I will give you some additional history that you need to know.
Please.
This
Okay?
is a Jersey City
Um,
historian.
I know that's
She
right.
know her stuff.
The knowledge.
Because there
Yes.
are others. There are others. And I have to say, since 1984, Frances and I met in 1984. She passed away in 2016. I learned. And if you didn't learn, you were not with her. That was the whole point. Because it's to be passed on, it's to be shared,
Yes.
it's to be given. And you ladies, I love y'all dearly. Y'all have so much more to learn.
Yes.
There's
Oh,
so
yes.
much more that you need to learn. Because Jersey City has been rich in its black history, especially its women as well as its men. Now, Frances is first and foremost for Jersey City. For my personal life, it would be my mom. She was the queen. Queen Elizabeth, Jacqueline Onassis Kennedy, Nancy Wilson, I don't care who you put up there. Nobody could beat Dorothy McLeod, because girlfriend was on point. And didn't take no mess either. And I realize every day I'm more and more like her, which scares me. It ain't cool. And then last but not least is Barbara Ross Lee. She sound familiar?
Nope,
The
not
name
to me.
sounds
Okay.
familiar.
Okay, let me tell you. I'm going to tell you the main stuff first. She's a physician. She is the first African American woman who was ever the dean of a medical school, medical college.
Go, girl.
And she is the sister of Diana Ross.
Oh, look at
So,
that.
there you go. I'm done.
Wow, that was amazing. That was amazing. Thank you so much. I learned a lot just
That's a
in
quick
that
history lesson.
Yes, for real. So, Miss Janine Brown.
Well, I'm going to switch it up a bit since you guys did Jersey City. So I'm going to do someone unconventional. And I'm going to say Cardi B.
Yeah.
I'm
Let's go.
I'm
I
listening.
am a big fan of hers
Yes.
because I followed her on Instagram long before the fame, right? So it was
did
different
too.
things that she would put up that would go viral, and I just happened to start following her. But I think she is an amazing story of, you know, pulling yourself up by the bootstraps and really doing what you love, and also being unapologetic about who she is. I love that about her. And then I'm going to go with Mary McLeod Bethune. So she is an ancestor, a real one
Of ours.
of
yes.
ours,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So that's some
yes.
history that you just told me.
Yes, I had to share with her that there's a relationship between us.
wow.
Yes.
Us McLeods. Yes.
So
Yes.
she's a legit ancestor, and I think, you know, she carved the path. I have a line of educators in my family. My K's, Karen, Carla, Kathy, shout out to you guys.
KKK.
Yes, and so, you know, she was very instrumental in educating Black folk. So, Mary McLeod Bethune.
Yes.
And Cardi B.
And Cardi B.
Hey,
That's-
Cardi B.
Oh, I had to. How could I not? How could I not? Miss Sheena.
Well, first and foremost, I must say, my mother. Everything that you guys love about me comes from my mother. She taught me to serve. She taught me to serve selflessly, to not look for applause or recognition, that your blessings would come from God. And I appreciate everything that she taught me because I'm able to do the work that I do today because of her. Yeah. My second person would be Jersey City powerhouse, Dr. Carolyn Oliver Fair. I miss her so much.
Yeah. Yes.
I could talk to her about anything, and she would give it to me straight, no chaser. She would beat me up, tell me where I was wrong, tell me what I need to fix, and she would always say, you know, I tell you this because I love you. And she was a person that I consulted a lot for the steps that I would make, whether it be in activism or politics, and it's really a void without her. There's a lot that I feel like torn to do or not to do because I don't have that counsel with her, and I miss her dearly.
You can still have a conversation with her.
Amen.
You know that, so have that conversation.
Wow, this is amazing. I learned a lot. There was some things that I wasn't aware of. I'm glad that we have this because the women that you guys are highlighting, it makes me want to do more research. I am going to highlight my mother. My mother was a Jamaican native. She left home at the age of 16. She moved to the Cayman Islands. She came to this country at the tender age of 21 or 22, and literally, not only did she build a foundation here for myself and my two brothers, but she brought her entire family here. She sponsored her sisters. She took care of my grandmother. She helped get one of her brothers here. My other uncle, unfortunately, passed away before she could get him here. My mother was a trailblazer, okay? She came to this country not knowing anybody. Got her associate's degree at Hudson County
Go
Community
girl.
College. Got her bachelor's in sociology from what used to be called Jersey City State College,
I still refer
but
to
is
it as
now known as New Jersey City University.
Yeah.
And I don't know who I would be without my mother. From her cooking to her laugh to just who she was. I attribute everything I am and everything I aspire to be to my mother. So, you know, she passed away to COVID. And it was a very difficult time, but when I think about what she did in her 73 years, she traveled, how many continents are there? 7? Yeah, she traveled 5 of the 7 continents in her 73 years. She would get up and go. So I did give her flowers when she was here. But now that she is not here, I want to give kudos to her and women like her, single mothers who are from abroad and come over here and they make a life for themselves and they are successful. And for mothers right here who try their best to raise their children in, you know, environments that aren't so safe or what have you, and they do the best that they can. And I also want to highlight Miss Shirley Chisholm.
Yes.
I have to because
Teach them.
this woman was like no nonsense. She was blunt, she was bold, she was inspiring, she was the first and only
Thank you. Say it.
Black woman
Yep.
who ran for president. Little money. And guess what? She got about 10% of the and she ran for the Democratic Party. Now I don't know if any of the she ran for one of the 2 popular parties. So I don't know if there's ever been a woman of color to run for any of the other parties, but I know she was the first Black woman to run for the Democratic Party.
For a major political
For a
party.
major political party,
Absolutely.
right.
And that she is, I believe, the only one.
The only one. And she was just so bold in her activism. And she took pride in what she stood for. And I just want to give highlight to these women, not just the women that I mentioned, but the women that we all mention, because it is important to have a staple, someone in your life who you can look up to, who you can aspire to be. And I just think that it's amazing that we all have these women
Yes.
that we could talk
Super
about.
That's true. And Erica, just to add, Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm was a very gentle lady. Okay? She was my keynote speaker when I graduated from elementary school.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
She know everybody.
Hey,
Mama Blue know everybody.
I was born and raised in New Yorker. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
She
okay?
know everybody.
She was our keynote speaker from 5th grade, elementary school. She was the speaker. That's how I got to meet her and interact with her for some years. Very gentle woman. She didn't take
Small
no
frame.
mess.
She didn't take no mess. She
didn't
was
take
small
no
frame.
mess.
And I must add,
But
she
very
is of
sweet.
Caribbean descent.
Yes, she was.
I'm just gonna put that out there. We dope. I'm sorry. We dope.
Yep.
We so dope.
And loved
so
her
dope.
accent too, and was not ashamed.
Yes.
I
Not
say
ashamed.
anybody born near the water is dope. Like just in my travels, I've traveled the world too. Thanks again to my mother because she worked for Continental Airlines through the United merger, and so I got to fly for free my whole life. And just from my experience, people by the water are just dope.
Yes.
Yep.
Like I don't know what it is.
We
But
sure
if you was born by the water, be it Jersey, New York, Puerto
Yep.
Rico,
Yeah, because
the
Jersey
DR,
City is right by the water too.
if you was raised by the water, you just got something
Just
in
naturally,
you.
just naturally
Something
dope.
about it.
Just
I don't
naturally
know.
dope.
But yes.
I just want to, before we continue, I want to thank you ladies for accepting the invitation to come on to this show.
Thank you
Thank you for the
invitation.
invite. Right.
And, you know, I just want to empower women. I want to show that Black women can come together and do something positive.
Absolutely.
And be a force.
Yes.
And be recognized.
Every day.
And show love.
Right. And not just in March.
Yes.
We do this all the time.
This is all the time.
We don't.
All
You're not
the
gonna
time.
see it on reality TV.
But I'm gonna take this
but-
month. I'm gonna take this month because a lot of people they talk about, I'm not celebrating Black History Month. Only I'm gonna take that month. Everybody
Yeah.
else get a month. Why can't we get a
Don't
month? I'm
leave
taking
nothing on
this
the
month.
table. Right.
I'm taking this
Right.
month. But like you said, all year round we have to celebrate women. But while we have this month, we're gonna celebrate
gonna do
women.
it.
So let's get into some
Erica?
questions. I'm gonna go right to you, Mama Blue. So.
No, excuse me.
Okay,
1
ma'am.
minute.
Yes.
Erica, number
Yes,
2.
ma'am.
You said about reality TV. Why don't we be the reality for the TV and make our own show?
Right. Right.
Y'all heard it. Y'all, did
Because
y'all
see, I'm
hear
gonna
it?
tell you, I
Yes,
don't mean no
we need
disrespect.
to show 'em what the real
I
is.
do not mean to be
The real,
disrespectful
real.
to anyone or anybody, and especially when they're earning a honest
Right.
living. But I
I
don't
don't know
have
about
time.
honest, but
Well,
they earning
they're
a
earning a
living.
living. You're right. I can't do stupid. I can't do ignorant. I can't do dumb.
Selling your soul. They
Okay,
sell their souls.
so that's all I'm gonna say.
no,
No, I agree. I agree with that. I think that what we see on reality TV, the representation, the female reality TV. I like the air quotes. The female representation. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a reality TV junkie.
Oh no, it's
entertaining.
It is.
But
It's
sometimes I'm
controversial.
cringing.
Wait a minute.
It's
Okay,
controversial.
My first question is, how is
The,
that
the
entertaining?
shock
funny.
value. It's the
It's
shock
funny.
value.
I crack up
because you
sometimes.
just
What's
can't,
funny?
you can't
It's
believe that this woman got up on the table and like it's just shock
Or
value.
throwing tables.
Right. It's like
it's
what?
funny.
Did
I
she
like
just do
to
that?
I like to watch drama. I don't like
To
drama in my
be in
life.
it, right.
But watching it and
I like
kikiing
that.
with my
Yeah.
girlfriends,
Right,
like, girl,
right,
you saw
right,
what she did.
right, right.
What
Hell
she
no.
said.
In
Hell
Atlanta,
no.
in Atlanta,
It's
my-
a different generation, Mama Boo.
we called it
I
our
enjoy
ratchet
it.
hour. Like
Yes,
it's
it
your
is
guilty
a ratchet
pleasure.
hour.
Like let me get my
It
ratchet hour
is.
in. You know what I mean? I work hard all day long. I work really hard all day long. Gotta put on for the man.
Don't
You gotta-
bother me when
you know,
Atlanta Housewives is
Right.
on.
Let me get my ratchet hour.
Let me
on.
get it. Like,
You know, it's a
listen.
guilty pleasure. It
Look
is.
at her face.
But you
I'm
gotta watch it
sorry.
consciously. So it's the difference between grown women watching it and our little girls watching it.
Yeah.
There's a difference
Right.
because our little babies are watching it thinking this is real.
Yes.
We're watching it like
They can't
look
decipher
at these
between-
Look at
actors,
these fools.
actresses. You know,
That's what you call them?
we know that
They're acting,
Well,
but they are acting.
it's scripted. It's
Absolutely.
It's scripted and it's
Right.
cut to portray a certain storyline. I've had the pleasure of meeting two of the women that are on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, and they are nothing in person
Right.
like the way they cut that show.
I
Like
mean,
I
they-
couldn't believe, like wow,
They
this
do
is
it
the
for
same
ratings.
woman?
They
They
take
do
the
it
worst
for
and the
ratings.
best.
Probably
Right.
really embarrassed too at how it's edited a lot of times.
And they don't get a final say. I mean, we're not talking about, and Angela Bassett, so they don't get to say, well, cut it this way, cut it that way.
No.
It's like, we cut it how we want to cut it.
Reality TV is for what it is, right? Cardi B, and I'm mentioning her because you brought her up. She was smart.
She got out.
She used reality TV for exactly what it was. She did one season
And got out.
She hit that Bodak Yellow and bounced. That was it. She did exactly what she needed to do. And a lot of these other women, people in general, that's what they need to do. They need to use it for what it is and get out. Get yourself some notoriety and get out. But a lot of
Right.
people, they get addicted to it and they stay in it. They like the attention, they like the money, whatever the case,
fame.
the fame or whatever the case may be, and they stay with it. I gotta be honest with you. I watch it and I like it. I'm sorry.
You keeping
My
the
name is
ratings
Erica
going.
Bermudez, and I'm a reality TV junkie.
We're going to get beat.
HGTV, learn how to build a house. Okay. Put up
Man.
some
Because that was my
walls.
next question. I was
Okay.
going to say, what do you watch?
There you go.
I love some
HGTV
HGTV.
and the
I do.
Travel
I'll
Channel.
hire somebody to build
No,
my
but
house.
I will say
How do you know they're going to do it right?
I don't know.
I will
Better
say
know
though
for
the
yourself.
reality TV because I used to watch a lot of it like back in the I want to say back in the day, but I sound so old saying it. But back in the days, but I limited my consumption only because even if we watch it consciously and we know that all right, we know this is staged. Subconsciously, it still kicks in, and our subconscious mind thinks life has to be this dramatic every day. Our subconscious mind is waiting for that altercation, and our subconscious mind is going to respond how them
You're
reality
playing out the
stars,
reaction in your head already.
how
I
those
get it.
reality stars respond.
Yeah.
Our subconscious mind is just waiting for that
And that's
opportunity.
just damaging yourself.
It is.
And
It is.
you know, cut them
I'm not gonna
off.
stop watching.
Cut them
just
off.
limit it. It's
Look,
like
now
it's
I'ma
like
hear you in
sugar.
my ear when I'm
It's
watching
like
next time,
candy
like, turn it
and chocolate. You got to limit your consumption. You know.
No, just a lemon.
No, I'm definitely overindulgent on chocolate.
Save that positive energy for something positive. You got enough negativity in the world and
that.
dealing with dumb folks.
True that.
This is
In
true.
real life.
But it
Real
is
life.
what it is. And I'm going to still watch it. Unless they start doing reality TV anonymous,
I tried, y'all.
I don't have a way to kick the habit.
Tried to lead us to the light.
I tried to kick that habit. But
I feel you.
yes.
I already asked my questions, so that's it. Y'all put that out there.
No
Ooh,
judge
my
zone.
goodness.
No judgment zone.
Yeah.
No judgment
No,
zone.
never.
Please don't judge me.
No.
She
it's
gonna
all
pray
right.
for us. That's what it's
It's
gonna
all
be.
right.
Please don't judge me. Please don't judge me.
I'm not judging anyone, but I'm really going to pray that y'all just
Well,
leave that
pray
mess
for me,
alone.
please. I do need prayer, but the reality TV be calling me. But enough about reality TV. I want to get into some interesting topics with you ladies, and I hope you ladies have questions as well, because this is a conversation. It's not like interviewing, so just pretend like
Great.
this is not live, and we kikiing.
Yes,
Okay.
already.
What we're doing.
For
We
already.
kikiing.
Why we
Okay.
ain't got no food?
Huh?
Why we ain't got no food?
You know what? You're right. We should have had some wine and food.
Yep.
We should have had some
y'all
wine and food.
absolutely.
All right, next, go on.
Next time.
I want to talk about the pandemic. And I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, minority women, African American women, really rose to the occasion when it came to entrepreneurship during the pandemic. And I want to just discuss that. And I want to highlight, women who used that opportunity, who took their unemployment, the extra $300, whatever it was,
And
and,
turned
put
it
it
into
into a
something.
business.
Yes, ma'am.
So I want to know what you guys' views are on that, the rise in entrepreneurship during this pandemic that we're dealing with right now. Any of you want to jump
I
in?
saw it as opportunity because I sell a black-owned laundry detergent called True Laundry Detergent.
Yes.
That's
Plug.
yes. And the reason why I
use
got
True.
into the business though was because a lot of people, I was promoting it because I was a customer for months before I invested, and I was letting everybody I know about it. And they were like, oh, but that's shipping. Oh, it's $8 for shipping. I was like, you know what? If I had $1 for every time somebody complained about the shipping, I was like, so let me just invest. So when the pandemic came, it was an opportunity for me to say, oh, I know you don't want to go out your house. I'll bring the detergent to you.
Right.
And so I was already making deliveries. So it was an opportunity for me to have a leg up in that delivery game and come meet my consumers, meet my customers, and take those online dollars and tell them, oh, save on your shipping. You don't have to pay $8. I'll provide you free delivery. So I saw it as an opportunity. Another thing with the pandemic is what pandemic? Like for us, we always in a state of emergency.
Yes.
We're always dealing with hardships. So it's like this just another one. We still gonna keep it trucking, still gonna keep it moving. And if you gonna slack on your pimping, that just gives me an opportunity to
rise up. That's right.
opportunity. That's all I
That's
saw.
right.
it was.
That's right. Miss Janine?
Oh, you're gonna come to me? So, entrepreneurship, being a business owner was something I always shied away from, right? I never saw myself as like a business owner or a boss. However, during the pandemic, you have a lot of quiet time, and sometimes you have a epiphany. And, understanding, it gave me that time to understand and really look into my talents and my gifts and how I could further utilize them. So, I'm getting there because I'm still kind of like, I see myself as a leader, but not necessarily as a boss. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I'm working through that. And I see a lot of women who are stepping it up, creating products, being super creative and selling, whether it's a service or a product. I think it's so dope. But, for me personally, I'm stepping into it. It's a scary endeavor, I think, because I'm used to stability, right? And so the stability of having a job and knowing you're going to get a paycheck every 2 weeks and you have your pension and you have your benefits and all of that, I think I've gotten accustomed to that. Definitely.
That's
But,
your cushion. Step on out there.
That's a crutch.
That's right.
That's your cushion.
confirmation
Step
right
on
there.
out
That's
there.
like a moment of transparency, right? Because some people think like you just have it all together and you have all the ideas, and it's like, no, I don't have all the ideas. I'm still figuring it out too at almost 40 years old, and that's okay.
Senior
I
citizen,
think
huh?
you're
Really?
No, don't
Wait a
say
second.
that.
Is she
Right?
a
I
senior
think the
citizen?
beauty-
What am I?
I'm only 25, so I can't enter into this conversation.
but wait, 40 where? Like,
Exactly.
Yes. Well, they say 40 is the new 30 or something like that, right?
I think it's the 25. I think it's
Okay,
the
well, I'm 25.
I
I'm
think so
definitely
too. I'm 25 too then. Go
Let's
ahead,
stay
girl.
there.
Yep. All
Miss
day.
Sheena?
The pandemic to me showed the Black community their resilience. You know, when things started to shut down, people weren't able to go to work, particularly the service and the entertainment industry. All of the people that work, you know, Times Square, Broadway, all the restaurants, and just seeing how they turned what could have been a disaster into another way to reinvent themselves and make money. And I think that's the blood and the power of our ancestors in us. Like you're going to get through it. And I also love to see the spirit of giving and helpfulness in our community. You know, I delivered groceries, picked up things for people, checked on people, and everybody around me was doing that. And, you know, they say so much about our community not getting along and we're killing each other, but the pandemic showed that, you know, when we're in a crisis and we really need each other, we're there for each other.
And that's what's important. I just said to somebody recently that you can really see the heart of a person or the loyalty of a person through the storm. Because when it's sunshine and rainbows and butterflies and all of that stuff, you know, everybody has a smile on their face. But when the storm comes, when there is adversity, when there is negative things that are happening, how are you reacting in that moment? So to see the community come together, and we had these the Black Business Expos. It was amazing to see so many women, whether they were selling lip gloss or eyelashes or cooking dinner. Shout out to Jane with the Solo B.L.E.S.C. If y'all don't know who Jane is, y'all need to get into that Solo B.L.E.S.C., the body butter that she makes. She also sells black soap. So when I didn't know that she did. I knew Jane for years, but I'm walking, you know, up and down this the expo that Bruce put on, and I see this product, and I'm like, who is? And there's Jane. She was like, and it was just the packaging and everything. So I was able to be inspired by that, and I think that's like you said, when things happen, it kicks in. It kicks in, and by me seeing what other people was doing, it inspired me. And for me, it inspired me to write more. I do poetry. It inspired me to write more. I did some Zoom poetry.
Sure did.
Go ahead.
I was doing some poetry via Zoom, and you know what? When I was able to get back on the stage, I was like, you know what? I really need to start writing more. I really need to put a book together. So I am in the process of putting the book together to put myself together. Plug, okay? So I think that when we see other people doing good, and if our mindset, and Mama Blue, you always talk about that. If your mindset is on that, and then you have the positivity around you, it will build you up to do good things and big things as well.
If you look back in history,
Take us back.
we're going back. You talk about slavery. You're right, it's in our DNA. Every crisis, we made a way. We were able to make a way. God opened doors to make a way. He gave us whatever it is we needed to do what needed to be done. So whether you talk about slavery, Harriet Tubman and the things that she did, and the other women, if you want to come up further into the World War I and World War IIs, Black women have always worked.
Yes.
This thing about, this, that, and the other, bullspit. We've always been working. We have always been in the forefront. And not necessarily because we wanted to. It wasn't an option. Because our Black men were seen and viewed as more of a threat than a Black woman. And taken away. And they were famous for breaking up families. So our broken homes now is not anything new. Because it started way back
another way.
then.
Tell them, Mama
okay? We've always made a way. And we always will. Because that's just who we are.
Resilience.
We're just that damn good.
Yes. Resilience.
And we've been resilient prior to slavery. Like
Prior to,
slavery
yes.
is not
That's not
the
where we
beginning
begin.
of our history.
No, it's
right?
not.
It's the interruption of our history.
Oh, I
Yes.
like that.
You know,
I like that.
we were kings and queens, and we were ruling
We were
nations.
warriors.
But
for
you know why?
thousands
Of years.
Yes, but you know
Yes.
why I use slavery? because that's when they interrupted us and we were brought here.
Right.
And the things that we had all along that we've been used to, everything was taken. Our language, our
Right,
customs,
right.
our people.
And we had to start
our
all
homes,
Our
over
religion.
everything, and we
Right.
started everything
Right.
all over. So our resiliency really kicked up a notch.
Definitely.
And then some, to a different, as some people would say, level, I say dimension. Okay?
I like that.
When slavery kicked in, and that's why I refer to that, because that's where you really get to see who and what we are.
True that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I like that. Since we brought up the family unit, and I think it was Ashina, or maybe it was Cynthia, I'm not sure, who said, you know, how women roles, you know, shift over time. I feel like there was a time where women were not in the workforce, right? This is not, I feel like, but this is fact, right? And then women were only nurses or teachers. That was it. Now you have women who
Doing
are
everything.
truck drivers, women who are doctors. You talked about it, Barbara, somebody?
Barbara Ross Lee.
I was trying to remember it, Barbara Ross Lee. Women who are doctors, surgeons. I mean, in 2022, women are unstoppable. They're doing everything. Is that in any way affecting the family dynamic?
Yeah, undoubtedly, yes. And it was done on purpose. I just found out the other day that the Rockefellers invested in the women's movement to disrupt how well we were doing
Which wasn't
educating
our
our
movement
own.
to begin
Right.
with, and
We
still
were,
is not our
right. We were
movement.
doing so well educating our own at home, raising our children, homeschooling our children. But when we joined forces with the white women who wanted more power, who wanted to say so,
The
like
suffragists.
our men weren't disrespecting us and telling us to shut up. Nah.
They weren't even in that workforce.
You know, exactly. Their women needed more
That's
why we've
attention.
been
working
right.
all the time.
But when we helped them and took attention away from our own house, that's where our family started to lose us, because we were focusing our attention elsewhere and giving our attention to women's empowerment and taking it away from our family unit and our family empowerment. But that was all by design.
Absolutely.
So it's definitely a must that.
Systematic.
And everything is in this
Yes.
country by design. Like, the system isn't broken; it's working the way it
They
was set
wanted
up.
it to be working.
It was set up
Exactly.
to be. But we have to overstand that, because we're not going to change laws overnight. We're not going to change minds overnight. But when you overstand something, you're able to consciously work with this system and see how you can navigate and come up and use it to your advantage. So I think we just need to always have that conscious mind, knowing this is how it is. How can I navigate? How can I use it to my benefit?
Yep.
That's true, but it even with the conscious mind, we still fall prey to the system. Even with the conscious mind, it seems like the way it's built, the way the construct is, we fall right in line. And why is that?
But that's
Why
I think
don't
'cause
we?
we are such a helping and an aiding people. We go to everybody else's help and aid but our own. And that's why I said, like, the feminist movement, the women's lib movement was not for black women. I don't care who writes me after this and says you're wrong. It
No,
was
you
not
are right.
for us.
No, it was not
This
for
current
us.
resurgence of the feminist movement is not for us. Not when you
Distraction.
still have black women who are not getting adequate health care when they're trying to carry
not
and
getting
give
the
birth
same
to
salary
children.
as
Not when you
their
have black women
other
who still are
counterparts.
not getting paid the same
That's
amount of
what I'm
money as
saying.
white
Yeah.
women are
Yes,
getting. They're
exactly.
not, that movement is not about us. That is about them, and we need to stay up out of that movement and quit fighting for people who do not fight for and with us. It's just,
There's one thing I have to say, and this disturbs me, and we have to figure out the solution to it. For a man that makes the dollar, a woman will make 83 cents. That's white women. That's not us.
right. We make it more like
We're coming in at around 65 cents. Hispanic women are coming in at 54 cents. So we have to be part of that movement only to get that full dollar to make it even. But to absorb all of their agendas, no.
Right.
Absolutely
Right.
not. Absolutely not.
We don't hear the women that are at the forefront of that movement that are not of color saying, but the black women aren't getting,
No.
but the Latino women aren't getting. They're not saying
So
that.
where do
They're
you
like,
strike
we
the
got,
balance?
and they
Right? Where's the balance?
That's a good question.
let them
Where is
move
the
on their
balance?
own, and we
And
move
need to-
together.
yes. You know, Ashina, I'm glad that you said that because I'm about to go back to reality TV. Mama, please don't kill me.
Here we go.
Please don't kill me. I was watching an episode of.
You learned something from
I learned.
reality
No. It's not that I learned something. It's something that struck a chord in me, right? So I was watching an episode of Love and Hip Hop. I'm almost embarrassed to say it.
Good. That's good. That's
Mama,
growth.
you rubbing off
That's
on me.
growth.
I was watching an
But it
episode
is a
of
woman entrepreneur behind
behind it.
Sure
Let-
is.
That's
It sure is.
hello,
Mona Scott
Mona
Young.
Scott Young. Okay.
How much is she
And
investing?
she a
back
black
into-
woman.
How much is she investing back
That's
into
another
black women?
conversation.
Oh Lord, we know. Can I just
We gonna have
make
to
my
check
point?
this
real
out.
quick?
That's
'Cause
another
I
show,
don't know. That's a whole nother show. But I was watching an episode of Love and Hip Hop Miami, and one of the characters on here, I don't even remember his name, but his wife, she does these retreats. She has her own business. I don't know the character's name because it isn't a show that I watch often.
I didn't even know
Okay,
that
not that
Miami had
one. Okay, so she does a retreat, but only for black women. Now, mind you,
I remember that.
she's half
was a
black and
whole-
half. It was a whole big
uproar.
thing. She's half
Yes.
black and half white herself, right? But she wants to empower black women. So now she does other things where she unites all women, but she has a particular retreat where it's only for black women. And there was a Hispanic one. I know this
I
one,
can speak- I can
Noriega's
speak
wife.
on this. Oh, I can't wait.
That one
Go
I
ahead,
remember.
keep going.
Noriega's wife, a Hispanic woman, she told her she could not come. She was like, well, she didn't say she could not come. She asked, well, am I not invited? And she said, well, I'm sorry, it's only for black women. And she was offended. Now, I didn't know how to take it because I'm Puerto Rican and Jamaican. So I'm like, well, if I was there, would I be invited? Would
I
I be
feel you.
considered black? So I was trying to figure that
How
out
do you
because
identify is the question.
in my own family, I was too black for the Puerto Ricans,
Right. Right.
and I wasn't black enough for the Jamaicans.
I feel you. My mother's
So-
Puerto Rican. My father's black.
So I was, it made me in that moment watching that episode. It made me. I felt her pain, and then there was Ray J's wife, who is Asian and black, and she's advocating for her. My mother was Asian and she did not know how to raise me. And you need to have, other women of other descents there so they can know how to raise their black children. And I understood that, but then at the same time I said, why do
struggle
we
ain't the
always have to
same.
acquiesce?
It's not the same.
It's
and
not
there
the
are
same.
unique challenges that are specific
To
to
black
black
women.
Yes.
I had a family member say to me, because he saw, my page and everything was like pro black. This is like 2015, 14 when I was going hard. I was going super hard. And
still
he had the
going
nerve, right, still, I'm going hard in different ways now.
Says your earrings.
Right. I go hard on another tip. But he had my Puerto Rican cousin had the nerve to post on my page saying, "Don't forget you Puerto Rican too."
That would have struck a nerve with me. Child.
What? He canceled. He's canceled to me. Like I haven't talked to him since because the struggle, like I said, the struggle's not the same. My light-skinned Puerto Rican sisters don't have the same struggle.
And when they look
As-
at you, they don't see Puerto Rican. They see black.
Right,
But
right.
you know
When
what's
I-
so
when I-
sad?
the struggle's not the same. You got dark-skinned Puerto Ricans that go through a different struggle than light-skinned Puerto Ricans, and they know it. They know and it's like
Colorism. Let's
colorism
talk about it.
is worse
Yes.
sometimes than
Within our
racism
race.
in
Yes,
our own community.
Absolutely. And that's the problem, the colorism, because you're classified, light, bright, damn near white. You okay?
Like
Collie over there wanting it. You know what,
Light-skinned
Janine?
Keisha.
I was
And-
hoping you didn't say that.
No, but I'm saying that as a dig to him.
Yes.
And if you
right?
look, if
Right.
you look
Yes,
at
dig.
every single family, I don't care where
Yep.
they come from, whether Puerto Rico, Jamaica, South Carolina, North Carolina, the hills of hell, I don't care where. okay?
Not the hills of hell.
I was thinking
Wherever,
the same thing.
okay? Hell, whatever,
Lord, not the
okay?
hills of hell, God.
The color is from light bright, damn near white to
Well, we know why
Black,
that is.
black, black,
Well,
black,
we know
black.
why that is.
But yeah, we know why that is. However, it still doesn't negate the fact that families still won't accept family. And that's the problem.
And that was
Yeah.
by design.
Yes, yes,
Well-
it was. Divide and conquer.
Yes.
You know,
When massive fathered children and took them in the house and
Yeah,
made them think that they
because-
were better
Better
than the
than the
children
other.
that were out there.
right,
And some of
because
those children
the
were
lighter
their
ones, they
siblings.
stood a better chance than the darker ones. Don't let them stay, and you know. But it is something that has to be really looked at. And when you talk about Hispanic history, you can't talk about Hispanic history without talking about Black history.
Thank you.
Yes.
You know,
Thank you.
so-
and then what that Hispanic woman should have said was, I'm black too.
Yes.
Not,
Yes.
I'm Hispanic, don't I count? She should have recognized her blackness, know that your curly hair is curly because you got some melanin up in you, and own that and say, hey, I deserve to be here too. Not, oh, you ain't.
But you have a lot that don't.
Right.
They don't, and that's the problem. You have Hispanic people who don't recognize who they are. They don't know who they are.
Right.
And
Right.
it's because of the education system. And to be honest with you, our education system is flawed. And I'm going to say what you've been saying tonight, by design.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Are y'all still teaching about the Middle East?
We have to teach what the curriculum tells
Oh.
us to teach. I said, you notice that I said that real loud.
Yeah.
And you,
But you know what? You are both
You
teachers
don't have to.
outside of
Look,
your
you
daily
don't
job.
have to.
So
Listen, if this is going to be viewed by the Jersey City Board of Education, I teach the curriculum. As a matter of fact, I just taught about the women's movement.
Keep your job.
Okay, about the suffragette. Okay, so if this is being recorded, if they are watching this, I only teach the curriculum.
Keep your
Okay, New
message.
Jersey
Okay.
standards.
so
That's
we
it.
have 7 continents,
Yes.
and there is no Middle East.
There is
Yes.
no. Right.
So
Call it what
should-
it is,
no,
Africa.
And listen, I understand y'all work for the Board of Ed, and I wouldn't dare tell you to do anything outside what you
I'm
have
not
to
saying
do.
that I don't. I'm just not saying that I do.
I'm just saying to you, I understand that the position that you're in.
Yes.
However, when you come to my class, and when I go back on campus at FDU, come on and hang out with me, okay?
But
Come
there
on,
are
Hank.
creative ways to work around that, right?
Absolutely.
Because that's essentially where
Yes.
Brown Brilliance came from, too.
And
Right?
yes.
Just being able to find
Segue.
creative ways to be culturally responsive, right? I have Egyptian students
Right.
who identify as strictly Egyptian.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay,
I say,
African.
Egypt is in Africa.
Africa. But they think they're Middle Eastern.
That's because
To her point.
they put up a Middle East. And I'm
The
like,
same
in the
way-
middle of Africa,
The
huh?
same way they put up Bergen Lafayette here in Jersey City. Like, there's no Bergen Lafayette. There's Bergen and there's Lafayette. Don't try to water down Lafayette, mixing it with Bergen. Like, Lafayette is a historically black neighborhood. But you let them rewrite our history, they gonna write us out. They gonna write the blackness out. Like they trying to write the blackness out of the Middle East. The Middle East, they trying to write the blackness out of Lafayette and call it Bergen Lafayette to make it seem more friendly to the
Hasidic.
newcomers.
And who allows that to happen? Oh.
Listen, and that's part
We
of the
do,
problem.
because
That's-
we
yes.
don't educate.
But we,
Like,
not
and
only
take-
that, we don't take a stance. We
And
always
fight
talk
for
about
enough,
these different
right.
things,
Stay-
but what are
and
we
stay
doing
standing.
to?
Here's what I'm going to say. For those that know the truth, bring it in paper in black and white. Take your personal feelings out. Take your personal opinions out. It's not personal. It's straight up damn business.
Yes.
Give straight up facts.
Yes.
That's the education.
Yes.
Straight up facts. None of the bull crap.
The
okay?
unfortunate thing with that is when people bring the truth, people
You-
outcast them. You know, and
It's how
some-
you,
and
it's how
sometimes,
it's how you bring it.
you know what? And
It's
I had a
how you bring
conversation
it.
with somebody about how things are said, and things are not easy for us. People don't make things palatable for us.
We don't
But-
make it palatable for ourselves.
But when we bring truth, we got to make it palatable for everybody else. Like, make it nice. They don't make it nice for us. Master
Listen.
didn't make it nice when he took my foremother and raped her. He didn't nicely say, "Come with me." He grabbed her.
grabbed her.
You know, the police didn't ask George Floyd to lay down so they could put they
Right.
Threw
forced
him
him
down.
down.
Absolutely.
But we have to make things palatable and nice for
We don't
everybody
have
else
to.
and make the people comfortable.
No.
I'm tired of making
No,
people
we
comfortable.
don't. We don't have to. We don't. There's some. Oh, let me not say that.
No,
one.
say it. Say it.
Oh no, no.
Don't hold back now.
We'll be off the air forever.
That's for off the mic, right, Mama Blue?
disclaimer.
You did do the disclaimer.
But she can't say it. She can say it off the
Okay,
mic.
we'll talk after. We'll talk
That's for the after show.
You have some folks that are going to be damned and do what they do, like those cops with George Floyd. But I'm telling you, when you start building a reputation, see, we don't read. We don't want to read. When you start building your reputation on facts, on history, on black and white, and start sharing
Yes.
and start disseminating, we're going to realize that a lot of our folks really struggle to read.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But I'm not going to talk about
Yeah,
Jason
and that's
Boyd.
why the
No, please do.
No, I'm not.
Let's
I'm not
keep
going
it
to do
real.
that.
And that's
No.
why you
That's
don't
why-
see a
But
lot
hold
of
up,
us
that's why I
at
like.
council
This is
meetings.
really why I like talking
Or school
to
board
Mama
meetings.
Blue, because she keep it real. One, and
Please
number
do.
two, she gonna tell you. She gonna take it way back. And tell you the history of
Yeah,
things and
and-
get you to be knowledgeable
Right.
about what, and that's what's important for our community. We have to be knowledgeable. Not only that,
Right.
we have to, but we also have to be mindful about what circles we're in when we're having
Absolutely.
certain conversations. To your point, because it's not about making things palatable. It's about being in the right room with the right people. Because if you're like-minded and you're having the right conversation with the
You can
right
make
people,
things happen.
you can
Right.
make
Right.
things happen.
And
You're
also,
all-
if you're speaking to somebody in a different language, they ain't hearing you. So you need to translate. We have to code switch so
Yes.
that we can be heard.
And you're always going to have someone that's going to run back and tell. And I can tell you, ooh, we got to have tea one day. So I can tell you all the stories from the 80s
But-
of how when black folks came together, when you had Francis and Glenn and Addison McLeon, okay, and Tom Taylor, and all of those folks sitting at the table, I'll tell you the ones who ran back.
Because they
There's
do.
always
Okay?
one.
There's always one.
They do it
But
now.
you know
The
what?
reason why we haven't advanced in the manner that we should have, right?
because of us.
You always have someone who's on the sidelines.
That's right.
Who
on the
is
fence.
thinking selfishly and not for the group. So,
It too
I always
the ones
say-
who stab you in the back.
They will
Absolutely.
use one of us
Yes.
to kill
Right.
all of us.
Yes.
And then blame it on all of us.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And say we killed ourselves.
That's it.
Wow.
That's right. Absolutely.
Wow.
All the time.
So for
all
those
day
people
long.
who sit there and, you're the water carrier or the information carrier, they're using you. They're using you to hurt us, and then they gonna blame it on everybody and say it's them.
That's why we
they
need-
can't get it right. They kill each other. They don't clean their own neighborhood. They don't want affordable housing. They don't want better education. It's them. It's them. It's them.
Pointing the finger.
And that's why I think it's important to have our own spooks to sit by the door. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. The spook who sat by the door. We need more of those, and I believe they exist. And I have faith that they exist, and they're at work, and they're gonna come home and give us all the intel so that we can, fight this
And let me
fight.
tell you what happens to those spooks that sit by the door.
They get
Okay.
killed or imprisoned.
They get their ass kicked inside out every day, all day long. But
For
you know
us.
what they do? They come back and tell you anyway.
Yes,
That role
ma'am.
is not for the weak. That's
It
not a
isn't.
weak
It
man's
isn't.
role.
Nope, it is
or
not.
woman.
Right.
It ain't for the faint at heart.
Nope.
No.
Absolutely
I
not.
outed myself in 2015. I said I can't tolerate it anymore.
Whistleblowers.
Listen.
but I also
Because when you
think,
really
right,
start hitting the mark, they will mess with your family.
yes.
They'll
Oh,
mess with
yes.
your money. They'll mess with your property.
But see, that's where you have to be smart because you strategically place your family where they can't be touched.
Right.
True. But
Yeah.
I also think that the burden is heavier for a woman
Absolutely.
in that position, right?
Yes.
We carry a greater consequence
Mm-hmm.
when we take on those roles because men, I think, are easy to bounce back from being that person. right?
Because they're
Being
a
this
man.
Because
They
this
won't
is a
be taken
patriarchal
advantage of
society.
as much.
you know?
No, they are.
Definitely.
But they're a man. And you could be the worst SOB in the world, but as long as you're a man, you're a man.
That's what happens when you are in this construct, this patriarchal construct that, yeah, it's not designed for women to rise, and it definitely isn't designed for women of color to rise. Listen, ladies, this conversation could go on and on and on all night, but we are coming up on our hour.
For real?
And yes.
I feel like we just sat down.
This is, I gotta be honest with you.
So we got another 30 minutes. Can we get another 30?
I wanted to have an extended show because I know we didn't.
For real.
I be knowing stuff, y'all. I wanted to know if the conversation flowed, if we could extend, but I don't know what Facebook is going to do. I don't know if they're going to kick us off. So before any of that happens, I want each of you to just give us your last words. If you want to plug your businesses, if you want to give your IG, if you want to, whatever you want to do for your last words, please do so and do so now. And I'm going to start with you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a shot. You said like plug myself?
yes, because you talked about
whatever your
brown
last
brilliance, and I, you know,
How do you make your money, and how can we help you make more of it?
yeah,
So, I like the sound of that. How can you
Yes.
help? Okay.
that's
great.
what we're talking about. Women in power. We want to empower you. So what can we do to make you feel better? To make you do
first,
better?
let me back up. So Brown Brilliance is my name, right? My last name is Brown, but Black and brown youth are my passion.
Yes.
So that's why I was kind of like, I'm going to go with that name, because being a Black person, you always have to consider what the name sounds like. I hate that. And people are like, oh, maybe you should do something more generic. And I was
Yeah.
like, no.
What we
that.
do.
Brilliance, right?
Yes. Yes.
So many
Yes,
of
we
our
are.
kids do not know and understand how brilliant they are. And so I believe what I do is bring out the brilliance in them, right? Even if it's telling them that they're brilliant. And then it also reflects my own brilliance and my creativity. So with that being said, I do youth engagement workshops. We actually have a contract, Lewis and I, with the Juvenile Justice Commission. So my specialty is using hip hop ed. We do social emotional learning, because I think that's the fun part. I think the fun has been taken out of teaching and learning and educating. And then the second half of that is I have a background in journalism, which Erica, you and I have
Yup.
spoken about this.
Been supposed to connect.
Yes.
You see how I did that? I just want to point out kudos to me for bringing these ladies together, because each of them said, I was supposed to meet that one. And do you know how long I was supposed to meet her? So just pat myself on the back because I did
Yes.
that. Okay, I'm sorry.
And, I always had aspirations of being on air.
Look at you. Oh,
There you are.
And my confidence level wasn't where it needed to be when I was studying, right? So I did the internships. I had production assistant jobs. I worked at major networks.
Girl, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, and I just wasn't.
Tell her.
I wasn't confident enough. So Brown Brilliance is rediscovering her passion, her talent, and I'm gonna be out there. I got a
That's
website
right.
coming
Yes,
up.
queen.
Yes.
That's right.
It's gonna be great.
Absolutely.
So happy to hear that. So happy to hear that. Miss Ashina, I'm coming to you. And the conversation you and I had about the connection that you've gotten with the women in Atlanta, I am so excited to hear about that. Not that you have to go into that right now, but that's another reason why we need to connect as women so that we can, how can I make you money? How can I encourage you? So
It's all
Tell
about
us, Ellen.
intention. We have to be intentful in our connections with people, or the people that we, hang around and spend the most of our time with. And I was just sharing with Erica something that happened when I was in Atlanta, because I'm now back and forth between Jersey City and Atlanta. I was at a young lady's house, and it was just like a game night. She, brought people together. And one of the sisters asked me, what did I do for a living? And I told her what my 9 to 5 was. She was like, no, what do you do for your business? So I told her about my business, which I'll speak about next.
Yes.
And she says, if you don't mind me asking, it's a little personal, but how much money did your business make last year? And I said, oh, it's close to 10,000. So she calls this other sister over, who's an accountant. She said, we got to get this sister to 6 figures by the end of the year.
woo,
And I was like, wow. She
wanna
was
be
like,
in
we're
that
going to
meeting.
sit
Right, I was
down,
about to say, I
we're
wanna
gonna
be
work
in
on
that
your
room.
plan.
You see
And
what I'm
like they
saying?
literally throughout the meeting was like giving me different stuff to do, and
Beautiful.
we exchanged numbers and they followed up. And I was just like, wow. But I was
That's what
very
it's about.
intentional when I started going to Atlanta that I only wanted to be around particular people that were doing particular
Absolutely.
things because I wanted to stay focused. And so, there we are. To that end, I incorporated my business in 2020. It's called Johnson Hamaya Incorporated, and I'm a business consultant. So I help people register businesses and nonprofits, do copyrights, trademarks, and soon to be I will have a patent attorney on my staff, so we'll be able to register patents too. It is very
Congratulations.
So
Big
you
team.
can help
Big
with
team.
my
It is
curriculum.
very-
all of that.
It's very important that we understand that our entrepreneurship can bring us a lot of benefits.
Absolutely.
And that only if you are a legally registered business. I can't tell you how many people came to me to help them with PPP applications, and they're not registered businesses, and so they missed out
Right.
on a lot of money. It doesn't cost a lot to register your business, and you really want to sit with somebody so they can understand what you're doing now, what your future plans are, so that you can be set on the right path.
Thank you so much for that. Yes.
Yes.
Snaps
You're
to
welcome.
you.
Thank you.
Miss Erica.
Peace. Okay. Oh, y'all ready?
Yes.
I got a laundry list. Okay, first and foremost, eReporting Live is my handle. In addition to Walk Ahead Marketing, Walker is my last name. No relation to the Walkers that you might know in Jersey City. But Walk Ahead Marketing, I created that because I spent 15 years working for big radio conglomerates and in the advertising field, helping large businesses, Fortune 500 corporations with their marketing campaigns like they needed more money. So I was like, you know what? I want to be the Robin Hood of marketing. I want to use what I've learned in my 15 years in corporate America and give it to the small, Black-owned, minority-owned
Yes,
businesses
yes.
and nonprofit organizations that need my marketing assistance.
Nice.
So that's what Walk Ahead Marketing does. And in doing that, I stumbled upon Black-owned brands that I love, like True Laundry Detergent. And I was like, I love this detergent so much. I was like, it only makes sense to sell it because I talk about it so much. So
I need to get some. By the way.
Yes, I
Okay.
sell True Laundry Detergent. I also sell Coral Oral toothbrushes. I love
Yes.
these two products are household products that we have to use
Every day.
all the time.
Yes.
So T-shirts and DVDs are cool. I always say this. T-shirts, DVDs, that's cool, but people are only going to buy that one time. You want to sell products that people are going to buy over and over. That's how you build generational
Customer
wealth.
retention.
That's how you build residual income.
Yes.
It's automatic. You know your clients are coming back to you time and time again. So I use these two. It was strategic. I use these two as examples because it opens the door to conversation and talking about Black wealth and generational wealth and talking about ethno-aggregation, a term coined by Dr. Claude Anderson, who anytime I crack the mic anywhere, I pay homage to Dr. Claude Anderson because he had this plan 20 years ago for us to get out this position.
Yes.
And I feel like everybody needs to read his book, Powernomics.
And they wouldn't
Yes.
read the book.
They wouldn't read the book.
And
But
now
it's
you
okay
can get it
'cause
on Audible. You can listen to the
can
Right,
book.
you
listen
can
to
listen
it.
to the book. I've
Reading
read the
is
book
fundamental.
to people. I'll go live reading chapters at a time of his
what's
book
up.
because the hashtag is readers are leaders. Because if our people won't read, let's read to them.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
And,
Let's go to the people where they are, meet them where they are.
and before I don't mean to cut you off, but time is going. Before we go to you, Mama Blue, I want to issue a congratulations to you. There's a Keisha O'Neill who is letting us know that you are going to receive the Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated Woman of the Year Award. And I would be remiss if I didn't congratulate you on
Yes.
such an esteemed award because you do a lot for the community. You do a lot with this podcast.
Humbly,
you have
quietly.
inspired
Right.
me all the time when I talk to you, the information that I get for you, the knowledge that I get from you, it is really, especially without having my mother, it makes me feel like I need somebody like you who has that wealth of knowledge. So
beautiful.
congratulations to you
Yes.
on
Thank you.
receiving such an
Thank
esteemed
you.
award,
Thank
Woman
you.
of the Year.
Yes.
I don't know any other way to close this show, but Mama, if you have any words, please.
I just want to say thank you for the acknowledgement. Thank you to Zeta. You know, I do what I do because that's my heart. You know, this is not something new. This has been all my life from a kid. I'm here to serve. That's what God requires.
Yes.
And that's what I
Yes.
do. I just thank you ladies for being here and coming tonight, having the opportunity to speak with each and every one of you, and especially out of different circumstances, away from all the other stuff. You know, it's all good. It's all good.
was fun.
Thank you.
This was not just fun. This was amazing.
Yes.
And I'm so glad to have had the opportunity to sit amongst you beautiful, intelligent, dynamic women. And to our viewers, thank you so much for watching. We ran a little bit over time, and had we had more time, I'm sure we would have continued to go on and on. Thank you to Scott. Thank you to Kearney
you,
Point
Scott.
Studios.
Thank you, Kearney
Thank you
Point
to our
Studios.
other hosts.
Thank you, BLESC.
Holly, who is here, who supported the
Yes.
women.
And stayed
He
quiet
came
the whole
out
time.
and stayed quiet the whole time. Girl, thank God for small blessings. I also want
That's a
to
big blessing.
no his quietness, but let's not go there. Let's also thank the president, Anthony Smith, the vice president, John Boma, and Sean Spence. Thank you to all of the members of
Yes.
BLESC who come and watch us every single week. We thank you. We will be back in 2 weeks. And as I say all the time, peace and love. Good
And
night.
good
Thank you so
night.
much.
Bye.
Peace, peace, peace.
Peace.